Hi Shagun, how are you? Welcome back to part two. I hope you're as excited as the listeners and as me. Are you?
Hello, Vicky. How are you
Miss
doing? I'm fine.
Miss
And I'm
Shagun
really
Thakur, the Astrophile. Are you ready to share more secrets, reveal more secrets of the universe with all of us?
Yes, Vicky, I am ready.
Okay, wonderful. So I want to tell you, we have got some wonderful reviews, feedback from the listeners for the first episode. They appreciate all the
Oh,
awareness that you created for them, and they are getting more excited. They want to become more aware about the secrets of the universe with Miss Shagun Thakur, the astrophile. So without any further, let's jump into it.
amazing.
We were we were on the string theory. I remember we were on the string theory. We were talking about the Big Bang, the big chunk. We were
We were talking about the origin of universe,
origin of the
the creation
universe.
of
All right, so the
the
stage is
creation of
yours
solar
and the mic is
system.
yours. Please, Shagun, please go.
Okay, sure. So before starting, I hope our first podcast was on fire,
Mhm.
and we'll try to make
It
second
was
podcast
like an
too with.
asteroid on fire,
Mhm.
creating a lot of craters on the Earth. And in these craters, a lot of life came out, and they came to me, and they were like, "When is the next season coming? When is the next part coming?"
Oh my God.
Out of it.
Cool, cool. Okay, we want the same response again, maybe more better response than
Sure.
former one. We'll try making it. So, in the last podcast, we do talk about the origin of universe, I guess, and we completed that story of, the beginning of the universe and
Mhm,
what are the what are the circumstances that may cause the ending of universe and
mhm,
maybe again the recreation of another universe.
mhm,
So
mhm.
today I'll probably talk about the creation of Earth, the
Oh,
making of
wonderful,
Earth and the origin of life onto it, right?
wonderful. Please go.
So, you know, we were talking about when how the nebula formed and how the nebula give rise to different kind of solar system and the
Mhm,
stars and the prototypes and everything else.
mhm,
So
mhm,
let us get into the story where the solar system is formed because of nebula, okay?
mhm, mhm,
And the Earth is estimated to be 4.5 billion years old.
mhm.
So let's get back to that time and let's get back to
Mhm.
4.5 billion
Sure.
years back when the earth was actually nothing but a huge piece of rock, a huge
Okay.
piece of floating rock, sizzling
Okay.
hot rock,
Okay.
which was completely covered with so many toxic gases like methane, carbon dioxide, ammonia, and literally with no atmosphere, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
at that time the sun was continuously flogging the earth with the burst of UV rays.
Okay.
Asteroids and meteoroids attacks were quite common at
Mhm.
primitive Earth. So as a result, there were so many volcanic eruptions were there on the primitive Earth. So as for if we are talking about the volcanic eruptions, then we can imagine the lava coming out, the steam coming out, and everything else. So at that time, the gases which are very much valuable for our existence, example oxygen,
Mhm.
example water molecules, and ozone, and many other gases are literally absent at that time.
Okay.
So you can imagine Earth with you can imagine Earth as hell,
Mhm.
totally hell. It was just a burning hell at that
So
time.
why
So
why
when
at that time there was
Mhm.
volcanic eruptions and asteroids hitting the Earth, and why it is not happening now?
Why it is not happening now? Because of okay, because of the positioning of the Earth within the our solar system,
Okay.
and because of the accuracy of gravity.
Okay.
At that time, the universe and the solar system was in making. There were so many stars which were just burning. Well, as you can know that sun is also a star, right?
Mhm,
And which
mhm.
is burning because of
So
that
what I
nuclear
hear
fusion
you
and
say is
everything.
that since the time Earth has become part of the solar system, it has actually got
Yeah.
protected from all these asteroids and meteors.
Yes, asteroids and meteors are still there in our solar system, but
Mhm.
we are protected with those attacks because of the Jupiter's gravity. What
Okay.
Jupiter do is they have a lot of gravity as compared to Earth, right?
Mhm.
So every asteroid and meteorite whichever comes in the direction of the Earth,
Okay.
it takes
Oh,
that
wonderful.
asteroid and meteorite onto it. Just the gravity sucks that meteoroid or asteroid towards the
And the
direction of
primitive
Jupiter.
Earth at that time, Jupiter wasn't there.
It is not like that, but because asteroids and meteoroids were very closer to Earth at that time. Now, right now, we are having the asteroid and meteorite belt after it lies between the Mars and Jupiter, which is way
Okay.
more far than
Okay.
Earth, than
Even
primitive
I
Earth.
was reading it somewhere that Saturn rings are also like asteroids only.
Yeah, they are also asteroids and meteoroids, revolving
Okay.
around it because of
So
the
Saturn,
gravity
Jupiter,
and
they both
moving
are
around
like
it.
they're pulling the asteroid belt together, and they are
Yes.
like because of that the Earth is getting saved.
Yeah, they are like, protectors of Earth, we can say that. So
Wow.
thanks to Jupiter.
Thank you, Jupiter, and thank you,
Yeah.
Saturn. Thank you for saving us.
Exactly. So at that time, such asteroids and meteoroids attack were quite common. So
Hmm.
because of those attacks, the bond breaking of steam, that is, steam is nothing but H2O, right? The water
Hmm.
molecules.
Hmm. Hmm.
So at that time, that bond breaking just happened because of the asteroid attacks and because of the, flogging atmosphere on Earth.
Hmm.
So because of that bond breaking of water, that hydrogen and oxygen we need today and also at that time was made. Okay, so at that time when the bond breaking was happening, the lighter oxygen escaped in the space,
Hmm.
and the further hydrogen which was left got combined with oxygen and made some kind of ammonia and the
Okay.
water, the liquid water, and
Hmm.
carbon dioxide, and on the upper layer it formed an ozone layer. And
Okay.
you know about ozone layer, right? How
Ozone is
much ozone
protecting us
layer
from
there
the
is left.
UV rays and all.
Yes, it protects us from the UV rays, and at that time, when because the atmosphere was literally nothing but, as I said, it was so toxic to be live in. So the ozone layer is actually caretaker of the atmosphere of the Earth.
Hmm.
So at that
Hmm.
time, when ozone layer started, making a layer around the Earth, it protected us from the harmful UV burst which used to happen at
Hmm.
that time on Earth because of
Hmm.
the sun, right? So now the ozone layer is there, and now the oxygen and waters is there. So because of the ozone layer, what happened? The first rain ever on Earth started. So
Oh,
now we have the
oh
rain
wow.
also.
The
We have
first rain on
oxygen.
Earth started because of the ozone layer. Wonderful.
Yes, because because of the ozone layer, the temperature started getting cooling down, right? The
Okay.
harmful UV rays no longer were bursting with Earth and everything, and
Hmm.
now the temperature is quite comparable with
So
today's
is that
temperature.
also the reason why Ice Age came because of the ozone layer?
Yeah, we can say that because
Okay.
first ever age we talk about is Ice Age, and then maybe other Stone Age and everything.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, and when those because as I said, because of the asteroids and meteoroids impact, there were so many craters formed on Earth, and
Okay.
that craters were later filled with the same rain which we called sea and ocean now.
Oh, wow. My God, they're
So
so
that rain age was way longer than any kind of other age,
wow, man.
because we
Wow.
have so many water on Earth today.
Beautiful.
Yes, so those
They are the
craters and
oceans and the rivers and the lakes and the streams and all those things.
yeah, they are the craters, exactly.
Hmm.
So, and if we talk about
So these
directly, if I come
craters were
over the
that deep. These craters were that.
yeah.
My God.
Exactly.
My God.
Yeah. So, now if we many scientists do believe that life originated from water.
Hmm.
The first ever primitive cell
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
prokaryotic or eukaryotic cell may have originated in water.
Hmm.
And now the now we knew the story how the water could have came on Earth, right? So we'll
Hmm.
be talking about the origin of life on Earth.
Okay. Okay.
So, but now, when we are talking about the origin of life, this gives rise to a new kind of science, which is called as astrobiology. So,
Okay.
where astro means the space or
Hmm.
star, you can
Hmm.
link it with anything. And the biology is, of course, the science of life.
Hmm.
So, astro plus biology means the study of science in study of science in, and life in space.
Hmm.
Okay, so before starting, the many scientists believe that maybe the life on Earth could have originated from some outer or external life in
Oh,
the form of, and this is
are we
called
talking about the
panspermia
panspermia
theory.
theory that you were talking about last week?
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, the panspermia theory. So
Hmm.
many astrobiologists believe that spores and maybe some kind of virus or bacteria could have came on Earth because of with the help of some asteroids and meteoroids,
Okay.
and they gave rise
Interesting.
to
Interesting.
the new life on Earth. But
Oh.
yeah, so this is a theory called panspermia theory. And I don't know how many scientists do agree with this theory, but many modern researchers have demonstrated various kind of practicals and experiments according to the atmosphere of primitive Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So the concept later was developed as the theory of abiogenesis.
Oh, okay.
So now we are going to talk about the
Genesis is
widely
what?
accepted
What is
theory.
abiogenesis?
Yeah, I'll be talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Abiogenesis actually, come from that origin of first ever cell on the atmosphere of primitive Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Abiogenesis, let me differentiate this also. Abiogenesis, A means without,
Okay.
bio means life, and genesis means getting originated, generation.
Okay.
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 So abiogenesis complies to life without any primitive living cell.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because we are making life, we are originating life without life. You getting my point?
Okay.
Because to what we
Example of
see today that
abiogenesis, what will be the example?
yeah, for example, today you see that a, a woman is giving birth to another baby, right? mm,
Mm-hmm.
and the females are all around the biology giving birth to another species of their own kind. But
Mm-hmm.
in the primitive earth, the cell was the thing which was made out of literally nothing. It is like, how should I explain this? It is like some kind of components coming together that is
Mm-hmm.
aggregating with each other and giving rise
Mm-hmm.
to something called life.
Oh, okay.
Means non-living things coming together giving life, originating life. And this
Wow.
is what abiogenesis talks about. So
My
means
God.
making of life with some things which are non-living in nature.
I
we
think
can't we
even
can't think of
even in
those.
a Ved and Upanishad it is mentioned. What I was reading was that we are
Mhm.
a combination of the Panch Bhuta or the Panch Tattva. Earth,
Exactly, we talk about the five
fire,
elements, right?
five elements. Yeah. So they are
Yeah.
non-living elements, but when they combine in a certain form, they make us.
Yeah, they
We,
make us. And the very, very, very functional unit of us is cell. And cell works according to the nucleus. And nucleus is nothing but made up of DNA, right?
okay.
And you will be knowing about DNA. DNA is nothing
Mm-hmm.
but just a chemical composition
Mm-hmm.
which goes from legacy to legacy and gives information that how a person should be made. And what is DNA on a very general base? DNA is nothing but just a chemical combination, a certain chemical combination which is rare to every human on earth.
Okay.
Yeah, just a kind of
It's a
DNA actually
unique
means,
combination for everyone.
yeah, it is kind of computer generated code
Mm.
which is quite unique to every person on earth and even every animal, every living creature on earth. So if we talk about abiogenesis, it was concept which was developed by some Russian biochemist. His name was Alexander Oparin and JBS Haldane. So what they summarize that the primitive life or the very first life on Earth could have arrived from some kind of non-living things or maybe non-living compositions. They totally disagreed on the idea of panspermia theory.
Okay.
So they
So what
proposed
they are
that
saying is, so let's break it down for the listeners. So what they were saying was that when they are saying that they don't believe in the panspermia, that means they are saying that the life originated on Earth and it did not come from
yes,
outside the Earth or from space. That is what they are saying,
yeah,
right?
it didn't come from any outer space. It just originated. It created itself on Earth with the
Hmm.
chemicals which are already present on
Because
Earth at that time.
I have also studied this or read this when I was in school that life actually originated from the oceans.
Yes, and it actually talks about the theory of evolution, the
Hmm.
evolution theory of Mr.
Charles
Charles
Darwin.
Darwin.
Charles Darwin. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be coming on to that, but before, let me
What do
explain
you think?
abiogenesis.
We also want to understand your thoughts. Do you connect with the abiogenesis or the panspermia?
I do connect with the abiogenesis theory.
Okay.
Though there are few steps which are missing in abiogenesis. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
quoting that too in the end. But
Okay.
yeah, like if you want to make me to choose between panspermia or abiogenesis, I'll be going with abiogenesis because
Okay.
abiogenesis is quite explainable to
Okay.
someone.
Wonderful.
So let us explain that what abiogenesis they were actually talking about. On the primitive earth there were chemicals which were inorganic. Today we are organic composition which are made up
Okay.
of and totally relying on carbon based. Yeah, right, we are carbon based lives. So at that time what could have happened, that mm as I told, the atmosphere was quite like hell. So the thunderstorms were there,
Mm-hmm.
ammonia was there, carbon dioxide was there, water was there. So what happened in that rain era, that because of the thunderstorm, what happens, that thundering and that lightning thing do fix nitrogen on earth. And
Mm-hmm.
that fixation means converting that gaseous nitrogen into the nitrogen which is absorbed by the soil or by the
Okay.
water itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what could have happened at that time, that maybe some, because of that nitrogen fixation, some kind of molecules have aggregated itself into something which is called the ammonic acid, or maybe the nucleic acids,
Mm-hmm.
which are made up of deoxyribonucleic acids,
Mm-hmm.
which is the full form of DNA.
DNA.
So maybe
DNA.
at that time DNA was made by such inorganic compounds,
Oh,
kind of
okay.
aggregation things of ammonia, carbon dioxide, and such kind of things. And
Okay.
later there was a scientist named S.L. Miller who actually demonstrated it in a practical manner, that
Mm-hmm.
whatever the JBS and the abiogenesis theory encodes, he demonstrated that in a very practical manner.
Okay.
So and what is very exciting about this practical, in the end he actually got the results. He actually got
Okay.
that from the inorganic and making the same environment as of the primitive earth. He actually got the
Okay.
organic materials. He actually got those materials which are the ingredients of the DNA.
Uh-huh. So he
So which actually
kind of a
encodes that
lab, a kind
maybe.
of a lab where he created the
Yeah.
similar
Yeah.
environment conditions and all. Oh wow.
Yeah. He took away, he did he took a boiling he took some boiling water with two electrodes.
Mm-hmm.
Electrodes were for the electrical discharge, because at that time I told you that thunderstorm and that thundering lightning was quite common. So what he took, that he took some ammonia, some CH4, that is methane, hydrogen, and water into that boiling water, and then increased the temperature, and then did a spark discharge onto those chemicals, and then he condensed those chemicals, and then he gave some water to those chemicals, and in the end what he trapped in that liquid file was some kind of sugars, that is polysaccharides, we call in today's language polysaccharides,
Ah.
RNA, some
So
proteins, and yeah.
polysaccharides is poly means many, saccharides is
Yeah, saccharine means sugar. Yeah.
sugar
So
molecules, many
polysaccharide
sugar
and
molecules.
such kind of things are actually nothing but ingredients of, modern DNA or anything we called
Okay, okay,
nucleic
okay,
acid. So he
okay.
believes that maybe because of those nucleic acids, later a nucleus would have formed itself, and
Oh
maybe from
wow.
somehow the cell membrane was also made, and it gave rise to prokaryotic and some eukaryotic cells.
Mm-hmm.
Means from something which is totally non-living, some chemicals giving rise to something that is living called cell. This is
Okay.
nothing but the theory of
Wow.
abiogenesis. This is
Wow.
how we quoted the things.
It's
Yeah.
so beautiful. I love it. I just
So this is
like
actually,
this
the
theory is
origin
like
of life.
McDonald's. I'm loving it. So A proved
And
theory. Very nice.
biologists do many astrobiologists do believe and agree on this theory, and they do simply deny the panspermia theory. And as I said, I also deny this panspermia theory
Uh-huh.
thing idea, and I do believe this. But there's one thing which actually makes me think about it again, that how the nuclear membrane and then cell membrane could have come into life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's one more step that should be added in this theory, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we'll be thinking about it together. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
listeners, let's dive into some kind of research and again.
Please go on. Please go on.
Yeah. So now if what we said, we have originated life so long. We have some kind of cells, maybe prokaryotic or eukaryotic cells, and
Mm-hmm.
then cells did some kind of mitosis, meiosis, which are nothing but just making replicating themselves. The cells
Mm-hmm.
started replicating
Okay.
themselves and
Okay.
making them into thing called organism. So this is why. it is called that maybe first ever life was originated in ocean, that is in water,
Okay.
because water is main player of the
So
thing
you are
of the
mentioning
thing.
this word two, three times,
Hmm.
eukaryotic and prokaryotic. Can you tell the
Yeah.
listeners a bit about the difference?
Sure. We have two kind of cells, that is eukaryotic and prokaryotic, right? So
Mm-hmm.
prokaryotic prokaryotic cell is cell which is not very complex in itself.
Okay. Okay.
And if we talk about human and any other organism you see, is are the eukaryotic cells, because we are very complex and we have many organelles within us.
Mm-hmm.
In without of nucleus,
So we
the
are
main
what kind of
difference
a
of
cell? So we as humans, what kind of cells are there inside us?
eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic,
Eukaryotic.
eu means true. Eu means true,
Okay. True.
right? And the prokaryote and the karyotic means cell. So true cell. True cells means we are having the cells which have nuclear membrane around them. Means our DNA is packed inside cell. But in the prokaryotic cell, DNA is just floating inside
Oh,
some kind of membrane. Yeah.
okay.
So
Okay.
prokaryotic cells are actually give rise to some kind of bacterias or some kind
So
of
we are the
viruses.
true cells. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, the true cells. Congratulations.
Congratulations, we are true cells.
No more partners.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so this is the difference between eukaryotic and
Wow.
prokaryotic.
Wow.
And now we have came to distance from the beginning of universe to the
Beginning
origin
of
of
Earth,
Earth to the
and
region
also
of
becoming
life,
aware that we are true cells. Wonderful. I am happy. I'll get a good night's sleep.
So we have came a long journey.
Yeah. What after this, Shagun?
So
Where are we transitioning now to?
after this, the common evolution, we can say that the Darwin's theory,
Mhm.
we can
There
talk
is
about
one
the
more, no?
Darwin's theory. That
Laplace theory also of evolution also, isn't it? What is that? Laplace theory.
Laplace
Name
theory,
of that guy?
he actually he actually talk about some kind of uh, he actually talk about some kind of evolution which happens after the change of surroundings.
Okay.
So for example, if like it is, if we take example of a giraffe,
Mhm.
maybe what happened in the previous years, that giraffe was a creature with not that much long neck we see today.
Uh-huh.
But just because giraffe used to hire its neck to eat that leaves from out of those trees and everything which were higher than
Oh,
him.
so the giraffe got
Yeah,
conditioned into getting a longer neck
exactly.
from practicing
Yes.
that behavior.
So that is
Very
something
nice.
that is the evolution which occurs due to the surroundings and the habits
Okay.
of some sort of creature or enzyme,
Okay. Okay.
right? So here the if we talk about the Darwin's theory talk about that life could have originated from Earth, from water, and then from water that eukaryotic cell is converting and making itself into organism with higher composition of cells. Higher composition of cells give rise to the organs, and maybe a tadpole kind of creature could have made at that time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that tadpole would have evolved into something, some creature like maybe fish or something.
Mm-hmm.
and then uh, and then maybe that fish was not feeling well in water, so it came out of it.
Oh, wow.
And when that fish came out of it and gave birth to another sort of creatures, they were evolved to have legs, they were evolved to have lungs in them.
Okay. So this
So
is
this is how
a
evolution
mutation,
could have started on
mutation
Earth.
kind of a mutation which is happening.
Yes, this is mutation. Evolution is actually mutation on very basic level.
Mm-hmm.
Mutation, if I explain mutation in easy words, then mutation is a certain change in DNA, a certain change in the making of the organs, and the making of the whole creature. And that mutation could be forced mutation, or maybe mutation due to environment conditions, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe mutation due to some sort of DNA efflux or influx.
Okay.
Yes. So the mutation could be the reason of the evolution, not reason, but actually the explanation of evolution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And maybe after that, when the organisms is acquiring the lungs and everything, it gave rise to other organisms and other mammal mammals, and maybe other terrestrial animals, aquatic animals. And then, differentiation just got longer and longer, broader and
Mm-hmm.
wider,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of, we can say that a kind of web kind of thing has made at that time. Maybe some of are getting evolved making reptiles, some of getting evolved making mammals, some of getting evolved making aquatic animals or something, and giving rise to, different species we have today,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
different species we are seeing today. Yeah, and mutation is actually possible in today's world also, because mutation is nothing but just, as I said, DNA changes. So yeah, mutation can happen in today's environments and
So Darwin,
conditions.
so Darwin mentioned that the long-necked giraffe they just
Mm-hmm.
born, and Lamarck said that no, the same giraffe, because of the conditioning, or they kept on raising their neck, they went into a
Yeah.
longer neck. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
keep
there are
the neck
so
with
many
more.
theories of, there are so many theories of evolution.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I think you're talking about the theory of inheritance, that is the acquired characteristics.
Yes, Lamarck theory.
Acquired
Yes,
characteristics means, yes, the acquired characteristic means which you ain't getting from the legacy itself, but you are
I
acquiring because
actually
of.
believe in Lamarck's theory because being a student of psychology, I am aware
Mhm.
conditioning and keep on practicing of a certain habit or a certain
Yeah,
behavior. It becomes your habit, it becomes a part of your personality. So I feel that maybe this was done by giraffes and maybe it happened.
yeah,
What do
yes.
you think?
Because we do get many examples and many, the results of this theory too, and it actually makes sense to me, because
Yeah.
it is actually kind of changing habits, not of changing habitats
Changing
always,
habits,
but of changing
exactly,
habits.
exactly. And we do
Changing
that every
habits can
day.
cause to,
Shagun,
evolution.
we do that every day in our life. We are always constantly trying to change our habits, right?
Yes.
And we are also evolving,
So what it can do on a
but we
very,
are true cells.
yeah, it can change
The
our
true cells are
psychology.
evolving.
Yeah, on a very, psychological level. Yes, exactly. I do agree with
Wonderful,
it.
wonderful. So we
So
started
there
with
are
the
so many
origin of the
theories of
universe,
evolution.
then we went into the origin of
Mhm.
the earth. Now we are going towards the theories of evolution. Wonderful.
So now, actually, I don't think that theories of evolution, uh, we can cover everything about theories of evolution. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's quite obvious that many people have different perspective, and many scientists have different perspective. So many scientists also believe on God's theory, which is like that maybe the origin of life was not a chance or not a kind of originating thing, but mm, the person called Adam
Okay.
just appeared on earth
Adam
and
and Eve.
gave rise
Yes.
to, exactly, and gave rise to all the human race and
So
everything.
the Adam came,
But
and then Adam is like, God, I'm bored. Can you, so that I
yeah.
conversation? Then God created Eve. Then Adam got so connected to Eve, he's like, I don't give a damn about God. And then God is like, okay, I created you. Now you don't give a damn about me. So both
No.
out of my garden. So they were thrown out of the garden.
So yeah, there are so many theories like that, and that God's theory. Also, there's also another theory. I'm not
Mhm.
getting the name of that theory. I don't know. The theory of direct origin, maybe something like that.
Okay.
Okay, let's not talk about it. It also gives the same idea that maybe we are just appeared. We are not originated. We have not. We are created. Maybe we
Mhm.
are
So one
created
is
by
a
some sort
mutation
of
theory,
the.
one is a theory of evolution, other is a synthetic theory of evolution, right?
Yes, synthetic theory.
Mhm.
Synthetic theory of evolution is also, theory which do talk about maybe the evolution and everything was not controlled, but was made by certain outer conditions,
Okay.
maybe of earth, maybe of environment at that time.
But it's interesting how all these people they went into researching about how life came, how they got fascinated by it. Because I was watching a documentary on Darwin, and it mentioned that Darwin, small boy, he used to look
Mm-hmm.
out of the window and he used to see the various color patterns or the patterns or the patches which were there on the neck of the birds. And he used to go out and go into the nature and search like what all is happening and this and that. And the teacher will be like, "What are you looking outside?" He's like, I want to look outside. I want to go outside." She's like, "Okay, you then get out of my class." And he's like, "Okay, wonderful. That is what I wanted." And he went out and he started
Mm.
getting to nature and all. So there is something which is coming from deep within him. Maybe God wanted him
Mm.
to connect to his Eve, and his Eve was nature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can actually relate into this thing. And I think
like
you're
like
talking
like
about
Shagun is Eve and Shagun's Adam is astrophysics, biology, and all
wow,
all these things.
well
That
said,
is
well
your
said.
Adam, right?
Yeah. So, you're talking about the story of Darwin. I can relate it with the theory of adaptive radiation, maybe.
Okay, what is
Uh,
that?
yeah, where this Charles Darwin, what he did, that he researched, not actually researched, but he noticed the behavior of different birds.
Oh,
And he
okay,
actually went on some kind of island named, I think, Galapagos Island. Yeah,
okay,
Galapagos Island. What he did, that he found, some varieties of finches over there, means some kind of birds and everything.
okay.
So what he did, according to their eating habits, he noticed the shape of their beaks.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and what he noticed, that according to their eating habits, their shape of beaks is changing.
Oh my God. Wow. Just
Exactly. If they are, yeah. So that is, even not only the finches. What he did, that in adaptive radiation thing, he actually noticed many animals of that time,
so
maybe especially in
adaptive
Australia.
radiation means what? If you can talk a bit about that.
Adaptive radiation is actually, a theory, or maybe a specific thing which talks about evolution of anything, evolution of a creature according to given geographical area,
Okay,
according to the area
okay,
or according to the habitat they're living on.
okay.
Yeah, so for that, according to, so he actually only talks about the nature or maybe the changes which are coming into finches
And the
according to
adaptive
their
radiation is
geographical area.
also like a rapid increase in the
Adaptive
particular species.
adaptive radiation means, exactly, and what is the meaning of adaptive? Adaptive means some kind of changes or some kind of habits we are obtaining because of our nature, we are
Mhm.
obtaining because of our daily lives, right?
So
So those finches,
these Darwin
are these traits.
finches, which were found in Galapagos
Mhm.
Island, they actually increased in their population and their species grew. And this thing is what Darwin called adaptive radiation. So why is he putting the word
Yes.
radiation there? How is radiation connected to adaptation or adaptive?
Adaptive radiation, because this kind of changes is giving rise to different species.
Okay.
Yes, now the finches which were, which you can see maybe a decades ago,
Hmm.
is not still there, and some another kind of species are there because of the changes in
Oh,
geographical area.
okay. So
So it is kind
radiation
of
is
radiation,
actually a term for
from
the
one
transition
species.
that they're going through. Okay.
Yes, from one species or maybe from one creature, it's giving rise to different species. Because maybe we are, let's take the example of a dog.
Mm-hmm.
The dog is just a creature, is one creature. Dog is one creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
there are so many species for the same dog.
Okay.
We can name any of them. So it is kind of, adaptive radiation. It is kind of web making thing, that from one
Okay.
creature,
Okay.
there is the origination,
So there
there
is
is
a
the
parent,
originating
and then
of
there are so
the species.
many children that are coming from the parent.
Yeah, maybe there is evolution because of the geographical areas. Maybe there are evolution because of the mutations. Maybe there are evolution because of their adaptive or maybe some inheriting inheriting defects.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Wonderful.
this can give rise to some kind of radiation kind of thing, which can be quoted into adaptive radiation.
So, Shagun, this part two is very interesting. We are talking about the origins of the universe, the origin of Earth, the various theories of evolution. We're talking more about Darwin and all, and we have next 5 minutes left for part two, and I'm looking forward to part three because I can feel there is part three inside you, Shagun, which is going to come out soon. Wait
Mhm.
for that accordingly. So, if you like to share something with the listeners, what do you think they should take away from this part two?
Uh, I must say that these today we talked about the origin of Earth and origin of life, but
Mhm.
there are still many questions which are left, to be answered. There are still many questions which are waiting to be discovered,
Mhm.
to be studied again.
What are
Because as I
you
said,
what are you
as I
planning to
said,
share with the listeners for part 3, if I ask you that?
in part three, we may talk about that how the universe is nothing but a simulation kind of thing. Because
Oh,
you know,
wow.
we can talk that
Matrix.
increasing
Matrix,
reality things.
Matrix. Yeah, are you gonna
Exactly.
give the red pill to the listeners or the blue pill?
It depends on listeners what pill they want to take.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll make
I think this will
it.
be fun. In part 3, we will be talking about the whole universe.
Yes, because that will be, it's totally
Wow.
hypothetical thing. We ain't
Wow.
talking next. We ain't gonna talk
Are we gonna
directly on
go into the deep concepts
theories
of
or something.
quantum physics and all those things?
Yes.
Theory
For
of
understanding,
relativity and all? Mhm.
maybe for a smaller idea of, if you are talking about simulation. Simulation actually, come from a word, we can say, the intelligence of computers these days, or maybe artificial intelligence.
Mhm, mhm.
So that's what obvious that we will be talking about the quantum thing, the way, the functional parts of this universe, that is of course quantum, quantas, and every, we'll be talking universe but in at atomic level,
Atomic level.
not on
Wonderful.
organism. Yeah. So
Wonderful.
we'll be talking universe in atomic level. So maybe we'll talk about the simulation earth or various other theories like string theory, and
Mhm.
i'll I'll research about everything. What the
Wonderful,
listeners do want
wonderful,
to
wonderful. And we are so
know.
glad that we got in conversation with you, Shagun, because you are opening our eyes towards all these new concepts that are there. We were almost like a frog in the well, and you took us out of our well. So thank you so much for taking us out.
Welcome, welcome, you're welcome.
Looking at the
So
looking
I
at
just
looking at this small frog, you're like, hey frog, what are you doing? Come, I'll teach you some astrophysics. Come out of the well.
if you talk about this frog, then I should say that in the next podcast we will be, defining more about the human evolution, and
Okay.
then we'll be getting into the simulation and everything.
Simulation element.
So be
Wonderful.
ready for the human evolution thing. We'll
My
be
God.
talking about next.
My
Yeah.
God. My God. And with regard to some certain things, with regard to, like, last but not the least, what do you think the listener should take away from this episode, from this part 2? What do you think are some of the key points they should implement in their life, or anything that can create more awareness for them? Shagun.
mm, I just say that we talked about the origin of us, right?
Mm-hmm,
And somewhere, this origin actually feels like, oh, maybe we are very lucky to be born like this,
mm-hmm,
because we today we don't know exact origin of us. We
mm-hmm,
don't know
mm-hmm.
exact origin of ours. So we are very small on this scale of universe. So if anyone out there is feeling kind of down or something, please know that we are very lucky to be born and to be originated like this.
Beautiful.
And yeah, exactly, so we are actually a chanced product. And if you're getting this chance of getting onto this life and experiencing this universe, then please be happy and just experience everything you are having these days.
This is the reason I really like talking to you, Shagun, because you're not only an
Yeah,
file, you're also a deep motivator. You keep on motivating us to feel that
maybe.
feels. Thank you. I love it. It's amazing.
Yes, because the universe is very vast, right? And our problems are literally very, very tiny on this universal
Yes.
scale. So let's talk about this universe and everything, which are way larger and maybe way, way larger than us. So
Wonderful.
let us discover together.
But
Let
on
us research.
the behalf of my team, I just want to say thank you so much, Shagun, for doing this again. Thank you for taking out the time from your busy schedule, and looking forward to part 3. And I hope we were able to give a congenial environment.
Sure, and do let me know about the feedbacks from the listener
Sure,
also.
I'll do that. I'll do
We'll
that.
be taking that
Thank
into
you,
charge
Shagun.
too. Yeah.
Take care. Take care. Signing out now.
You too, man. Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.